Good morning from snowy Oslo once again. Today we are halfway through our commute going to the Viking Museum here in Oslo. We took the tram over to the National Theater, and now we're waiting for our bus here to take us the rest of the way so we can get out of the snowy weather and into some warm and see some awesome Viking ships and Viking stuff.
Yes, we are going to the Viking Museum today, and our ticket for the museum today will also get us into the History Museum for free if we use it within 24 or 48 hours. So we might do that, we might not, we're not sure yet. But we're excited to see the Viking Museum and learn all about that.
Yeah, so we just made it to the Viking Museum, and it's like in the middle of this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it looks like a big church. It doesn't look like a museum at all.
Yeah, but there's a sign that says Viking Ship Museum, so we're hoping that is correct.
But it's really beautiful out here, the snow right now. There are people cross-country skiing across the countryside when we were driving in the bus. It's very, very beautiful. So we're in the museum now, and on our way in, we ran into a group of 8, mostly British students who are studying architecture, and they said there's a 10-person
discount for a group.
And so they asked if we could hop in their group to make 10. So we ended up paying 100 crowns to get into the museum rather than 180 that it would have cost. So we saved money because of those nice students allowing us to join their group. So we're inside now, and we're gonna check out this awesome museum. So these Viking ships were from burial grounds, burial mounds that the Vikings had. There was a couple of women that were buried in this one behind me, and some of the other ones, there was warriors buried in them. And so we're learning more about how the Vikings buried their dead in these huge ships and filled them with tons of treasures and gifts that made them more gifts from more important people. And that's what these ships are from.
So now we are leaving the Viking Ship Museum, and it was really cool. I've been really looking forward to seeing Viking things while we're in Norway. That just feels very Norway. It was a lot smaller of a museum than I expected, and we got through it pretty quickly and saw everything.
Yeah, it only took us about 30 to 45 minutes, if that, to even see it all. Actually, I'm not even sure it was that long.
Really? And we like read every single thing, so we saw it all. But I still think it was worth it. I liked it.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to see like the really cool, like there's 2 ships, like I was saying, inside that were really well preserved. One that wasn't so well preserved, but still very neat to see. And then they had a really cool like video that you got to watch that was projected up onto the ceiling and the walls that showed kind of the really brief life of a Viking, like warrior, and then his death, and then how he was buried to show like what these ships were for. So it was a really cool experience, I think. And since we got in for only 100 crown, and that's a ticket to the historical museum, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
But so anyways, the people that we went in with have abandoned us. We thought they'd be our friends, but then they ended up ditching us. They just used us for cheap tickets.
That's okay.
That's all we were to them.
Tickets too.
We were nothing but just a couple of bodies.
So we're gonna do our own thing.
Now that took a lot shorter time than we expected, we're gonna go ahead and head into the town and go check out a fortress that is in Oslo. So we gotta go catch the bus and try to get there. So we learned at the last museum that the Vikings sailed from about 700 to like 1050 AD, and those ships were excavated in the early 1900s, like 1903, 1904 time frame. And so this next destination is a lot later in Norwegian history.
So this is the fortress, and we were planning on coming here in a few days, but since we got done at the Viking ship museum, we thought we'd go ahead and come here today. So it turns out this area is a lot older than we were thinking. So this medieval castle and fortress was built in the 1300s, and then King Christian IV kind of revamped it as palaces and updated it, and I guess lived here. And then it's now used as a military area as well as like for the public use too. We're going over to the Akershus Castle, and we're gonna see if we can look in that, and that's the old medieval castle. And I really am glad we're here in the wintertime. This is beautiful. It is just blanketed with snow everywhere. It's gorgeous.
So disappointment is setting in. The castle is only open from Saturday to Sunday, Saturday and Sunday 12 to 5. Disappointing, because online we thought it showed more, right?
It was confusing online because a lot of it was in Norwegian. Some of it was translated. Let's see. Okay, I do have castle open Saturday and Sunday 12 to 5.
Oh. So it looks like we'll walk around and see the outside of the castle then, because it's still beautiful. It's a little bit colder than the inside, I imagine. So really kind of bummed that we can't go inside this castle, because as we're walking around, it is way bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I also I just can't believe we haven't seen this from like the streets or anything, because it's so tall and massive. And it looks like there's a bunch of different buildings that were kind of built together as it maybe grew. I'm not really sure on that, but there's also tons of cannons all around, and like spots along the top ridge and in the walls. It looks like they were like shooting positions to defend the castle. So it's like it was really well fortified as well. So if you want to come see this, I would recommend it just from the outside. I mean, it looks like a really cool castle that would have been worth going into if we were able to.
So I did read online a lot about this one. Most of the website was in Norwegian, so I was really confused. But so now being here, I think it makes sense a little more now that you can walk the grounds, and it's open for free, like basically whenever. It's a lot of, like most of the day. But I guess to get inside the castle, it's only Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 5. And then there were some other like little exhibits that also had different hours, but it was open more often. And I think that part's free too.
Just outside of the fortress, I thought I recognized the statue's face, and turned out it's old Franklin Roosevelt. So we just ran into a grocery store real quick and grabbed some groceries again for dinner and breakfast in the morning. And now we are headed home by the bus, just like usual. Another really fun day, right?
Yeah, we saw a lot.
This was a lot more packed. We have like a schedule of things that we're trying to hit while we're here. And so we packed in a lot more today, which is gonna clear up some of our days in the future. 'cause we still have 3 more days here, I think, before we head to Tromsø. So we're gonna have to try to refigure out our schedule now that we've hit more than we expected. Thanks so much for watching again. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us what you liked about it, and we would love it if you follow us along the rest of our adventures.
Bye.